Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to talk about some things that you should not be doing ahead of the anniversary. There's a lot of things you should be doing, like to prepare for the anniversary, hoarding your resources, logging in, collecting the check-in stuff, but there are also some things that you should not be doing. And especially when it comes to tier 4 characters, which as of right now are still the pinnacle of the game, you don't really want to be tier 4ing certain characters right now. And you can even extend that logic to saying, like, just hold off, just pause on tier 4ing anyone unless you're really close, right? Obviously this kind of advice is A, just my opinion, and B, it's certainly subjective to where you are. If you're 99% there to your first tier 4 as a new player, you should absolutely go ahead and do that. But with the fact that we know there are growth support events coming from the the unlimited tier 3 transcended upgrades to the 15% off any tier 4 that's native tier 1 or tier 2, there's certain things that if you can hold off on doing them, like if you're a mid-level player, if you're an intermediate player, or you're like a veteran that's coming back to the game, even though you have a lot of materials to tier 3 and transcend, probably wait. It's going to take a while. It's going to take about a month for this one, because you can see it's May 14th and we're only in April 13th right now. But if you can wait a month, you'll get a massive discount. And you can check last year's Black Friday for that one specifically, because it gives you a discount. I think it's like a 25% discount for all transcended and tier 3s during the 2-week event. And so you can hoard resources leading up to that. But for tier 4s specifically, for this event, I would say if you have a native tier 2 that you're eyeing to tier 4, like an Odin or an Ebony Maw or a Quicksilver or something like that, maybe wait to get a better discount there, especially if you're not hoarding lots of materials, if you're kind of tight on materials. And then in particular for the tier 4 character giveaway, we've never had a tier 4 character giveaway. I want to make this one a little bit more detailed because I think it's more important. We've never had a tier 4 character giveaway. They've never given away a tier 4 selector. Now, a lot of people have speculated who could be in the tier 4 character giveaway or the tier 4 selector. And what I want to basically do is highlight that not every character is going to be in it, right? It's not going to feature Null and Sentry. It's not going to feature native tier 3s or native tier 2 heroes. The most logical way to approach this is to approach it the same way we approach it's cut off here, but the Transcended selector and the tier 3 selector that they give us, and they've been giving us for years now, right? We complained for a long time that the tier 3 selector was giving us pretty bad rewards because they wouldn't add new characters to it, right? They wouldn't add new characters to the tier 3 selector. But who was originally on the tier 3 selector? Well, original tier 3s were on the original tier 3 selector, like Captain America, like Iron Man, like Spider-Man. But for a lot of players at that point, and I think this was like way back when Spider-Man had, like, I don't know, this outfit, those players had already tier 3'd those characters. So that tier 3 selector wasn't as helpful for players who were, just boom, 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 banging out all of the tier 3s that came around, mostly like whales and very, very high-end veteran players. But the same sort of logic can apply to the tier 4 selector. I don't think the tier 4 selector is going to feature any premium characters like Weapon Hex, and I don't even think it's going to feature really old premium characters like Blue Dragon. Even though she is one of the first tier 4s, because she's a premium character in the sense of being a crystal character, I don't think they're going to give her as part of the tier 4 character selector. So I actually think that the list here of characters is a really good guide for who's going to be on it. I don't think it's going to be just these 5 characters. But if you notice, Iron Man was the first tier 4. So we have the OG tier 4. Moon Knight was the second tier 4, and Black Widow was the third tier 4. I don't think that's an accident, right? I think they chose these on purpose. Venom came within the first 6 months, and Storm wasn't that far after. So you have all of these very, very, like, recent to when they introduced tier 4, old, kind of, quote-unquote, old by today's standards, old tier 4s, older OG tier 4s. And I think those are going to be the ones on the list. In addition, I could see them adding some of the kind of OG Avengers, even though they're not necessarily the oldest tier 4s. I could see them adding some OG like Avengers, OG like Marvel characters like Spider-Man and Captain America, along with Iron Man and Black Widow, and maybe they'll even add it. Maybe they'll add in Hulk as well, just to capture like a very OG vibe, and maybe Thor. To be honest, Thor would probably be a really good option for a lot of players that don't have him. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. This is not an advice on who to choose. This is an advice on who not to tier 4 right now if you are thinking about tier 4ing one of these characters. Now, again, if you've already gone half of the way or 3/4 of the way, just go ahead and finish them out, right? But if you're thinking, like right now, I want a tier 4 character, I'm thinking, I kind of want a tier 4 Captain America. Not a great time, especially for an account like mine. Not a great time to tier 4 Captain America, because he may be the only character available for me in the tier 4 selector. And probably the biggest mistake I could make for my account right now, besides, you know, like blowing up my cards or whatever, would be if I tier 4, like if there's no one for me to select in the tier 4 thing, in the tier 4 giveaway. Because we know that, unfortunately, when the tier 3 selectors and then the transcendent selectors, when you don't have anyone to choose, when you have all of the options and you choose a character that you already have transcended or tier 3, the refund that they give you is not great. It's not bad. Like, it's not bad. I'm not complaining about free resources, but it's not going to be equal to the amount of savings you're actually going to get from a full-on tier 4. And assuming this is actually a full-on tier 4 character, like from start to finish, it's not just like a discount or whatever, then yeah, I do want to be able to spend that, boom, and just clutch up tier 4 Captain America or something like that. And you know what? I don't know. I really don't know who else I would choose besides Cap that I think would genuinely be in it. So my account is kind of in a risky situation to begin with. I genuinely don't know. Of the tier 4s that I have left, I think Cap is the only one who has a possibility of being in the list that I haven't already tier 4'd. And even Cap was more recent. He's a more recent tier 4, so there's a good chance he's not going to be on it. There's a good chance I already don't have anyone to choose. Yeah, I know. But we'll have to just wait and see. And so that was basically my advice to you guys in today's video, is just hold off on tier 4ing anyone if you haven't already started and if you're not a new player. And then as well, if you have someone in your sights that is very old, like Iron Man, Cap, you know, Moon Knight, for whatever reason, Black Widow, probably don't tier 4 them at all right now, because we're going to be getting this refund, whatever. And then you kind of want to see how that plays out. That being said, all that being said, I'm going to tier 4 Mystique. Oh, no. My Elgato has decided to betray me and doesn't want me to tier 4 Mystique. And the reason why I want to tier 4 Mystique as soon as this comes back is just support. Again, it's a kind of a boring tier 4. It doesn't really deserve its own video. I mean, I may do a video in the future with using Mystique as a support, but I can use her here climbing. Not that I need her. I think Jean can climb just fine with Storm, just Storm support. So I'm just using Storm support and just Magneto leadership, whatever. I could use like Deadpool leadership, it would be fine. But then on 50 plus, I'm gonna need to use, I believe that Mystique is the only support right now for these stages, and I'll definitely be needing her support because of how difficult that is, and I'll probably have to use Miles. I thought, you know what? I actually thought that it would have been nice if Nick Fury had the agility tag, but he does not. Yeah. That's a bummer. It's actually kind of crazy. You'd think with the agility tag, you'd have a lot of options. But if you look, I have Black Panther and Psylocke cut off by my camera, but there's basically nobody. There will be eventually someone like Proxima is a pretty decent support. But even then, and obviously White Fox is an amazing support. Amazing support. Like, I would love to wait for her to be tier 4. She would just be insane. But yeah, I am not going to wait that long. And I do think that they'll give Mystique another uniform in the future. I think they really like this character, although it is her first uniform. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. It's fine. I can use her in other content as a support as well. I can use her on villain stages as a support. I'm pretty close. I'm actually not sure how to get past this stage that I'm locked on, Mutant Hero. Well, maybe Emma Frost will save me like she did for Rivals. Because I can't get past it without having a CTP that I don't have. It's just, I need a brilliant judgment for Rogue, and I just don't have one. So it's kind of annoying. I could use Mystique here as well as on a villain stage, but and I could use her also on the Weapon Master stage. So she has a lot of upcoming value, but unfortunately, I have to unlock it first by getting there. So yeah, I don't know. I'll have to wait for another, you know, hero mutant to be added to the game, I guess, because there's just not that many supports. Like, yeah, I could do like Psylocke. I guess Polaris, when Polaris gets a tier 4, or if Dazzler gets a tier 4, obviously those would allow you to nuke the stage. But that Polaris and Dazzler feel like they're years away, right? They don't feel like they're coming anytime soon. And then unless Cyclops got an insane rework as like a Giga support, I would love to tier 4 Cyclops, by the way. I would love to tier 4 Cyclops. I think he's a really cool character. I really like him, but he just sucks. He actually just kind of sucks. I mean, specifically for that Ebony Moss stage, I ought to tier 4 Cyclops instead of Mystique because she can help me. He can help me more as a hero. It's not a lot more, but it is more because it's a slightly better lead and it's the support. But it's just not worth it. It's not really going to get me that far, whereas Mystique does represent actual legitimate value. So let's get this thing going here. We got 34,600 carbo. So let's take a little ease here. 34,600 and exactly 28,000 Soul of the Faltine. All right, here we go. 6, 14, 17. 2. Oh, 2 was really good. And then 2 again. Oh, ooh, ladies and gentlemen, the back-to-back dos. The Dos Equis. Do you guys remember Dos Equis? There were so many commercials about that beer. I don't drink, by the way. 5. It wasn't an endorsement. 5, 1, 17. 2? No, 18. And 2. Oh, my God. 2 again? Am I a Sith? The law of 2? Guys, we just rolled 2 on the second last and last gear 3 times out of 4 for Mystique. Okay, I just want to... Okay, sorry. I know this is really annoying, but I just want to appreciate this. We are 2 gears in, and I've spent less than 2,000 carbo. Yeah. I've spent less than 2,000 carbo. I've spent like 1,800 carbo. Yeah. We're on pace to spend under 5K for this tier 4 right now. We're on pace to spend under 5K. 5, 13, 10, 13, 24. Okay, finally we get finally we get an average priced gear. I think if that was a low roll again, we would have some troubles here. Okay, 6. Numbers are so tiny. 19, 19. Okay, here we go. 16. 25. Okay, all right. So the last 2 gears kind of made up for it, but I still think this is a discount. I'm actually really happy with this. I still think this is a fantastic discount. Yeah. And I know the ABX, ABL guys in my alliance are tearing out their hair right now. Not tearing out their hair, but they're probably looking at this and shaking their heads. They're like, bro, Bullseye was right there. You're literally a year plus late on Mystique, and Bullseye was right there, you bozo. But yeah, it is what it is. I got to be a bozo. No, I'm not going to use the advancement ticket. Oh, also, oh my God, I completely forgot about the elephant in the room. Tier 4ing Mystique in this case means there's no way I'm tier 4ing Elektra because I'm burning my books like 2 days before she comes out. Again, I'm not doing this as like a gotcha or a diss to Elektra or to Netmarble. I mean, I do think it's kind of lame to release another mid-month right before the anniversary. That's just my personal opinion. But I just don't, like, genuinely speaking, unless Elektra is insane, like insane, I'm not going to tier 4 her. She would have to be everything I'm hoping for me to tier 4 her. And the chances of her being everything I'm hoping for are like the people are making fun of me on Twitter. It's like 1% chance, right? It's like 1% chance. It's very, very unlikely. And so, you know, it's kind of a win-win in this situation because I'm not trying to edge you guys. Just hang on a second. If Elektra is not everything that I hoped for, then I didn't lose anything by tier 4ing Mystique and building up my speed books again. If Elektra is everything I'm hoping for, then we can cover her extensively at tier 370 and tier 380 and take our time and slow roll it, and I'll still be able to climb back and get books. By the way, for those of you struggling with books as well, I've been delaying the collection of the last reward. This is for paying players. It's not necessarily a tip for everybody. But these event missions, I've been delaying collecting that because once you collect that book selector, that Vishanti book selector, it doesn't go over 10 books anymore, and it has 24 hours to expiry. So be very, very careful if you just willy-nilly acquire it. See, I have 2 days left on that event. You want to acquire it before the event ends, otherwise you'll lose it. But you can sort of stall it out, just like I'm stalling out the tier 3 book selector because I have no one to tier 3 because they don't release new tier 3s. And so yeah, that's just a little tip for you guys. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and hit advance. Mystique. Yeah. Yo, I wish Nightcrawler got a tier 4 and he was actually good. But then again, in saying that, I realized that I'm calling for another speed tier 4. which we probably don't need at this point because we've gotten so many this year and they've been so disappointing. Oh, we got another agent level increase. I increased my agent level, I think, 3 times today. It's going to be a massive jump on the rankings. Destiny's Bond. Yeah. All right, so we got tier 4 Mystique. The build is pretty pedestrian, and we have no custom gear. But yeah, I think the only build... Oh, we do have a 5-star artifact, though. That's quite nice. Ignore, dodge, and attack. The only build is basically a rage build. She's quite difficult to play. I'll practice with her, and I'll do a follow-up video. But yeah, I don't think that she's going to do anything for my... Well, other than support. I could give her, like, a liberation or an insight. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually an option. Dang. Especially since Storm has an insight, I could totally give her a liberation. I think what I'll do for Mystique is I'll give her a... Yo, look at the mutants. Look at the mutant ladies, man. They're all shining there, from Psylocke to Rogue. I think what I'll do is I'll give her a rage and cover it in the video, and then I'll swap it over to a liberation, and she'll be my liberation support mommy. Anywho, that gotta slip that one in there. That cost me... Yeah, that cost me very little, man. That cost me... No, 5,000. What did I say? 5,200. That was cheap as hell. That was cheap as hell. Hell yeah, brother. Anyways, don't do what I just did. Under no circumstances. Thank you so much for watching the video. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content. Do not do what I did unless you know what you're doing or you want to. Hey, play for fun. And it is what it is. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.